Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael. Welcome to the Gas and Gavel video channel. Today, we are going to take a look at this 2025 BMW M2. This particular M2 is finished in a skyscraper gray metallic with a black leather interior. The model that you see in front of you is the second generation of the BMW M2 that was introduced in 2023. What you see in front of you is the new, updated mid-cycle refresh in the 2025 BMW M2. So for the mid-cycle update for the 2025 BMW M2, visually, not much has changed. Exterior, there are very minor details, such as blacked out badges with the M2 now blacked out with a silver trim. Very nice. Also, there are a handful of new BMW individual colors, such as Grigio Telesto Pearl Effect Metallic and Twilight Purple Pearl Effect Metallic. Sounds fancy. For the 2025 model year, the 930M wheels that you see here, which usually in a 2024 model are essentially just blacked out, are now available in two other color options, such as bicolor and a bright silver finish. Also, for the 2025 model year, the quad tip exhausts have been blacked out to match that rear black diffuser. Again, very minor visual updates for the 2025 model year updates for the exterior of the BMW M5. And we'll definitely take a look later, but there are minor updates to the interior for the 2025 update. And the interior updates include a new flat bottom steering wheel with red center stripe, and new for 2025 is a Alcantara steering wheel option. And the black leather msport seats that usually come in the stock BMW M3 now have the option of red accents, which this model that you see in front of us that we're about to review has those red accents. For the 2025 model year, the race carbon fiber seats can now be optioned as a single option choice. Although the price may be outrageous and again may be quite overkill for daily driving, they definitely do look cool. But this car unfortunately does not have it, but this car is equipped with the BMW mperformance seats with the new red accents in the black interior, which you kind of get a little peeky right here, but we'll take definitely a better look when we do the interior tour. Minor updates to the stereo system. The BMW has updated their operating system to 8.5 in the 2025 BMW M2. Honestly, I don't really know much about audio. Essentially, the update probably makes everything run digitally smoother. So again, interior, update steering wheel, update some design in the interior, and the operating system in the BMW sound system was updated. And the biggest, most exciting updates for the 2025 BMW M2 falls within this big bulge in the hood. The 2025 BMW M2 gets a substantial horsepower upgrade for 2025. So for the model year 2025 BMW M2 with the automatic or manual transmission, the engine now produces 473 horsepower. That is a 20 horsepower increase over previous BMW M2 model years. Again, that's an increase of 20 horsepower to a nice 473 horsepower. And for 2025, the torque numbers for the BMW manual transmission is the same as previous years. But if you take a gamble and live on the wild side and opt for the 8-speed automatic transmission, you get a substantial torque boost in your BMW M2 2025 update. So if you option for the automatic transmission, the torque in the automatic transmission equipped 2025 BMW M2 gets bumped up over almost 40 foot-pounds of torque to essentially 443 foot-pounds of torque. That is that's a nice little bonus for going the enthusiast manual and getting the automatic transmission. So again, 2025 BMW M2, the horsepower numbers have been increased in both automatic and manual transmission to a nice plump nice plump 473 horsepower, which brings the power total now almost equal to its big brother, the BMW M3 and M4. So again, the torque numbers remain the same for the manual equipped 2025, but again, if you get the automatic transmission in the 2025 BMW M2, you're rewarded by BMW's mid-cycle update with that, again, around 40 foot-pounds of torque boost to a nice 443 foot-pounds of torque. Now let's begin the exterior tour of this 2025 BMW M2, and we'll start with the front end of the updated BMW M2 2025 model. So one big significant change for the 2025 model year is this M2 emblem that you see here. The big change is that essentially they have blacked out the M2 words and surround it with a silver trim. Very subtle 2025 update to that front bumper. Let's cycle out. Here are your aggressively styled BMW LED headlights of your BMW M2. This is your driver's side headlight. Again, you have that quintessential LED running light, very common in the newer BMW design language. And behind that, again, you have this really bright LED projector, low beam and high beam. I love how the inside housing is actually painted black with a silver trim on top and a amber integrated turn signal. Definitely very aggressive designed front headlight design. It matches very well with the rest of the aggressively styled car. So again, safety, style, and purpose. BMW LED headlights. That is your driver's side. So swing around. Here is your passenger side. And it integrates very well with those big, bulky fenders that we're going to get to soon. Below the front BMW emblem lies a much more subtle front kidney grille. So I'm glad that BMW went with the more subtle front kidney grills, more akin to the previous generations of, for example, the E46 or the E30 M3. I'm glad that they didn't go with this huge, gigantic front shield. So again, great color choice. And again, that front kidney grille is functional. You see that kind of like a radiator, possibly intercooler behind there. Oh, actually, the intercooler's down here. Possibly radiator. And it's finished in a shiny black. I definitely like that squared off kidney front grille. Definitely fits in with the again, much more subtle profile of the BMW M2. Below the headlights, you do have, again, these front grille openings and what looks like some sort of vent that's functional for some sort of radiator back there. And we definitely know what these two things are. It looks like dual mount intercoolers. There's like one up here and like one down there. Again, I can see why they have this like huge opening here for this front bottom portion of the front bumper. You definitely see an intercooler there, and looks like another intercooler down there. So again, two turbos. Again, definitely very cool. I really like how these mounted down there. You can definitely see it, and it's very functional because those two turbos definitely need all that cool air. Going to the front, You do have front parking sensors. And on the side, you do have this little subtle integrated, looks like an amber side light. Contrasts really well with, again, that integrated amber LED light inside the front headlights. I love how the front bumper is definitely super functional in every which way. Let's scroll up to the hood. I really love how all the M models, even this one, has this huge, it looks like a huge bulge in that front hood. Definitely gives a very muscular appearance that again complements the most favorite exterior feature of the BMW M2 that I love, 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 are these huge, you can't miss them, front fender flares and huge rear fender flares. Again, quintessential BMW M design. It's not an M model unless you got those wide body fender flares. So again, in the beginning of my introduction, I said that this BMW M2 incorporates two of my favorite designs from previous BMW M models, the E30 M3 with their edgy wide body and the E46 M3 with its more curvy wide body and quad tip exhaust. So as you can see here, the front fender, it's edgy, but it's also curvy. Take a closer look to the rear. Again, it's edgy like the E30 M3, but it has a slow curve to it, a la the E46 M3. Again, my favorite feature, not only provides much more wide body to incorporate much wider tires or traction, but also gives, again, just like that muscular, aggressive design. And definitely this aggressive design definitely backs up all that twin turbo 450 plus horsepower inline six twin turbo. Let's circle to the back to the other favorite design feature, or second favorite design feature of the BMW M2 is right down here underneath this black diffuser. You have, again, these BMW quad exhaust. Now this exhaust is not only just visually appealing, but it's also functional. Again, this is the variable M exhaust. So the exhaust is variable. You can open and close the baffles to your liking. And new for 2025 in the BMW M2 is this black finish tips of the quad exhaust tips. Definitely integrates very well with, again, that rear integrated black painted diffuser. Let's circle on out. The rear, you do have that LED super bright tail light. That is, again, housed in a black housing with a, looks like a clear turn signal at the bottom. This LED light strip definitely matches that front light strip of the daytime running lights and the front headlights. Again, this is definitely a new quintessential BMW design language. Definitely very bright and also looks very, very aggressive. In the rear trunk, this car is equipped with an optional M spoiler, which is, again, if you don't look close enough, you may miss it, but again, it's a very subtle small spoiler. No Subaru STI table wing here. It's definitely very clean. And again, this is a factory option. That is paint matched to that gray exterior. Definitely gives it a very subtle finish in the rear. Definitely very, very clean. And new for 2025 BMW model year for the BMW M2 is, again, the updated M2 badge with the black interior and the silver exterior on the M2 logo. Right dead center, you do have the BMW propeller logo. You have your integrated rear view camera. And selecting out, I like how they have these like kind of edgy, squared off designs underneath the tail lights with that integrated third light. And again, it really reflects kind of like the front intakes on the front of the BMW. Definitely very cool. BMW designers definitely put a lot of thought into it. So again, this car is like edgy but curvy, and again integrates all of my favorite design features from my two favorite BMWs from past generations, the E30 M3 and the BMW E46 M3. Cycling back to the roof, there is an optional carbon fiber roof option. This car is actually equipped with no carbon fiber roof, but in its place you do get a powered moonroof with a cover, and you also get a integrated shark fin antenna. Definitely a great option to have. Really brightens up the interior and lets nice cool air in when you're carving through the canyons. Cycling down, I really love these BMW M style mirrors. These mirrors are powered with an integrated turn signal. I love the dual tone with the silver paint and the black finish. And if you've ever looked very closely at previous generation of BMW M models, such as the E30, E36, E46 M models, these dual pronged side mirrors are definitely something that is a M3 series design language. This just looks like a very updated version of it, but again, you do have those dual pronged side mirrors. Again, quintessential BMW M design language. Definitely very aggressive, very functional, and provides safety with the integrated side light. The wheel and tire package for the BMW M2 comes with a staggered wheel setup with a 19-inch wheel in the front and a 20-inch wheel in the rear. This design is designated by BMW as the 930 M model, and it's finished in essentially a shiny / flat black with the BMW logo in the center. And these front 19-inch wheels are wrapped with Yokohama Advan Sport tires. Again, great choice. I'm a huge fan of Japanese /JDM tires. Yokohama Advan, can't go wrong. Combine that with a European car, definitely knocks it out of the park. So again, these 19-inch / 20-inch wheel tire package are wrapped in Yokohama Advan Sports. The front tires measure a 275/35 Z19s. Behind these black 930M wheels lies huge 15-inch cross-drilled and ventilated rotor attached to this huge 6-piston BMW blue painted brake caliper, and etched onto the caliper again behind there you see a little bit is the M color logo. That's a great brake color choice for the BMW M2 that you see here. And way behind the wheels and brakes, you kind of see back there, are the BMW M adaptive sport suspension. And the M2 is the first year in this 2024/2025 model year to have the adaptive M sport suspension. Definitely very cool and definitely very aggressive. And again, another note is that new for 2025 for the wheel and tire package, you can get these 930Ms in 2 other different colors, a bright silver and another two-tone finish. So again, front 19, let's take a look at the rear 20-inch 930Ms in the rear. And here's the much larger 20-inch 930M. This is also wrapped in Yokohama Advan Sports. And the rears measure a pretty thick 285/30 ZR 20-inch tire. Again, definitely very thick. Great staggered wheel setup, classic sport car suspension setup. Behind those 20-inch black finish rims are slightly smaller 14.5-inch cross-drilled rotors mounted to what looks like to me a blue painted, maybe 2-piston. Yep, looks like 2-piston caliper, also painted at BMW blue. Great color choice that contrasts very well with this gray exterior. And this huge wide staggered wheel setup definitely fills up those, again, those massive rear and massive front flared fenders found only in the BMW M2. Cycling on through over to the side skirts. I love how the side skirts just integrate so smoothly with that rear widened fender and that front widened fender. And I like how the bottom just sticks out. So again, even the side skirts look like very muscular and very aggressive. Again, my favorite angle from the BMW M2 definitely has to be right about here, where you can definitely see, again, that rear flared out fender. Definitely very aggressive. BMW definitely knocked it out of the park with the design of the 2025 BMW M2. Front bumper also has incorporated parking sensors, front and rear. See those parking sensors? To protect all the quad exhaust when bumping into things, and protecting the front bumper when bumping into things. You have automatic rain sensing, windshield wipers in the front. The car that you see here is also equipped with the optional shadow line exterior trim, which essentially is BMW's, I guess, code word for essentially blacked out trim. So again, around the door, you do have that blacked out trim instead of usually silver. You also have blacked out trim kind of around the side mirrors and at various other places in the exterior. So again, this car is equipped with the shadow line exterior optional trim. Now let's take a look at the engine bay of the 2025 BMW M2. And here is the engine bay of the M2. The BMW M2 is powered by a 3.0 liter twin turbo inline 6. And within the engine bay hides the biggest update for the 2025 BMW M2 model year, and that is a substantial power bump for the 2025 models. So for the 2025 model year for the BMW M2, whether you have the automatic or the manual transmission, both transmissions get a power bump to 473 horsepower. That is a 20 horsepower bump over the 2024 BMW M2 model. For the 2025 BMW M2 model year, the torque numbers are actually going to vary depending upon whether you have the automatic or the manual transmission. For the 2025 model year, the torque numbers in the manual transmissions remains the same at 407 foot-pounds of torque. But in the 2025 BMW M2 model year, if you do opt for the automatic transmission, there is a substantial torque number bump to 443 foot-pounds of torque. I think the 2025 BMW M2 engine bay definitely looks very clean. you have a nice plastic valve cover with the bmwm logo and the bmwmpower embezzled onto the valve cover. Very, very cool. And I really like how you can see the actual two intake boxes here and here for the two turbos mounted somewhere way down there. Again, definitely very cool and very, very aggressive with these two intake boxes. One thing they could have done in the BMW M2 would add a little bit of carbon fiber within the engine bay. I do love this triangular strut bar. You don't really see that very often. Usually you only see one strut bar in most cars, but this car has a triangular strut bar made up, looks like black stainless steel. It would have been definitely very cool if they made that into carbon fiber, or if they made these intake boxes out of carbon fiber. Actually, if they just made the whole valve cover carbon fiber. Again, even without the carbon fiber, the engine bay looks very, very clean, and definitely Now let's take a look at the key that you get when you purchase your 2025 BMW M2. And here is your 2025 BMW M2 key. I was actually surprised when I picked up this key. It's actually very, very light. I'm used to other European cars being made out of some sort of heavy like plastic or metal. This whole key is essentially made, but it seems like just simple plastic. But I guess what they lack in materials, they make up in design. So you get this cool little, again, the BMW M livery with that red, that blue, and that white. Again, that's a kind of like a sneak peek to the interior, but again, it's incorporated into your BMW key, so people know that you know, you drive some sort of like M model and no mere base BMW 330 or some odd car. But again, definitely a very cool key. It is definitely very light. And again, your car is push to start. So again, nicely designed, very, very light. And you have 4 options on your key. You have a lock, which is that BMW logo there. You have your unlock, you have a trunk opener, and you also have some sort of emergency horn in case of emergencies. But again, the key essentially incorporates all the design cues of the interior of your BMW M2, hence like, again, the logo, and you got that silver trim there, and you got the black, again, the black leather or whatnot. So again, very cool key. And this is your key, again, to your 2025 BMW M2. All right, let's begin the interior tour of this BMW M2. And we'll start with the driver's side door panel. So this car is finished with a black leather interior with red and blue accents. What's new for 2025 in the interior is actually those accents. So you can option your black interior in your BMW M2 with red and blue accents. And you'll get a general idea of what I'm speaking about when you take a look at the driver's side door panel. And here it is. From afar, it looks like a simple black door panel, but it's actually not. If you look very, very closely, BMW has integrated many different type of textures, materials, designs, and features into the door panel. And again, it's a hodgepodge of luxury and goodness. So we'll start with the door handle. It's a silver trim, very, very sturdy. You have your lock and unlocks, and you have your memory seat settings for 2 people. Or what I set it for. Number 1 is for driving, and number 2 is for napping. Let's circle on out. Right underneath the door handle here, you have your side mirror controls and your soft touch, one touch, window up, window down. I really like this subtle splash of color here. Again, if you're familiar with BMW, this is the BMW colors of the white or baby blue, blue, and red. Nice little subtle splash. I believe this is covering up a speaker grill. And speaking about speakers, at the top of the door panel, you do have, I believe these are one of the speakers for your, again, factory Harman Kardon speaker system. Again, you get an HK system at no cost. That is the OEM factory stereo. Circle on out. You do have this really cool cross stitch in the leather. Looks like a kind of gray cross stitch that runs all the way across. And then integrated, like kind of like little textures inside the rear of the door panel are these little, again, it looks kind of like little speakers. So again, I really love the integration of different textures and materials and looks, and also function. And underneath all this, you do have room for I believe like a bottle of water and little knickknacks. And you do have your trunk release here in the door panel. Cycling out, let's jump into the, well, before we do that, let's take a look at your BMW M Sport seats. So this car is equipped with what BMW calls the M Sport seats, and they are here. Again, definitely very, very cool. They are powered every which way with lumbar support. They are also heated, and new for 2025 again is the option to get the black interior, again optioned with red and blue highlights. In this case, again, I really, really love how you have the subtle red and the blue, again harkening to the BMW M colors. Definitely very cool, very, very subtle, great running theme in this car. And the seats are definitely, again, super supportive. And again, new for 2025 is the option to option the carbon fiber race seats as a single option. Again, they may be overkill, but again, I feel like these base sport seats are definitely just enough of racing support and luxury. I really love this. If you take a look at the seatbelt, it looks like a regular seatbelt, but if you look very, very closely, etched right in at the edge is again the continuation of BMW M colors running right down the side. Again, I really love all the subtle like design features. They don't scream at you, but again, when you look at it, it just looks very, very classy, very, very subtle. Cycling down here, you do have these BMW M pedals and this BMW M2 side sill. Now let's hop into the interior and I can show you one of the biggest design changes and biggest updates to the 2025 BMW M2 mid-cycle refresh. And here we are. So we're going to start with the biggest update with an interior, and the biggest change in the interior is the steering wheel. So for the 2025 BMW M2 mid-cycle update, the steering wheel has been updated with a flat bottom, as you can see here. Definitely very race-like, allows you to get in and out of your BMW M2 with ease. And also new for 2025 is this very subtle, I guess like a red stitch within the steering wheel, allowing you to know exactly where the center steering wheel is turning. Definitely because race car. This steering wheel is leather wrapped, and again, another subtle design feature is many of these leather wrapped steering wheels are just, again, cross stitched with some sort of black stitching, but this one is actually cross stitched with, again, the BMW mpower colors. Definitely very cool and definitely very subtle. Now, another really cool feature of the M Sport seats is this M2 logo inside. And at night, when you do turn on and off the car, this M2 logo actually lights up. Definitely very cool. So here are your 2025 BMW M2 M Sport seats. The 2025 BMW M2 steering wheel incorporates the horn in the center. Let's give it a go. Nice and strong, very cool. With the BMW logo in the center. To the right, you have your audio controls with voice, BMW voice navigation. To the left, you have your adaptive cruise control. And I really love how this steering wheel incorporates a multitude of materials, from leather to stainless steel. I guess the only thing missing in this steering wheel would be carbon fiber, but again, I really love how everything is just integrated in, and I love the silver trim that goes all the way around it. Definitely very classy, definitely very race-like. It just looks like a very rich and luxurious steering wheel, befitting of again, MotorTrend's 2024 performance car of the year. Behind this steering wheel, you do have what you won't find in the manual equipped transmission are these paddle shifters right behind the steering wheel that again allows you to shift your auto manual BMW 8-speed automatic transmission. Now up top of your BMW M2, you have this black, what BMW likes to call anthracite headliner. Not quite suede, but it's kind of like a soft, like kind of feels like kind of soft nylon. Again, not quite Alcantara, but it seems very sturdy and it's very soft to the touch. And that anthracite material also covers this piece right here. And what is this? Let's take a look what this is. This car is equipped with the power operated moonroof. Let's see what that looks like. So the moonroof has a cover, so you can open and close that and let some light into the interior. Or if you're feeling a little stuffy, you can go ahead and open that moonroof and again, let all that fresh air in. Another cool thing about the BMW's M2 moonroof is that it has this integrated windscreen that pops up. So again, when you're driving on the freeway and you have that moonroof open, it's actually pretty quiet and you don't get all that wind in your face. So again, that's integrated, and this folds down when you close this up. Let's take a look at that again. So as you close it, the windscreen folds down, puts away, and then again, if it gets too hot and you want to darken up your cabin, you can go ahead and close that up. Goodbye, sun. So again, definitely very cool. And that material that covers this moonroof cover is definitely does a really good job covering up all the light. Doesn't even look like you have a moonroof there. Very cool. Right in the center, you do have your rear passengers have some sort of light to I guess find things. Very cool. This is your back seat of your BMW M2, enough for 2 adults, front and rear. I love how also the rear seat passengers are treated to that BMW mpower seatbelt, and they do have integrated side impact airbags for safety. And I do want to note that the rear seats are 20, 40, the rear seats do fold down, and they do fold down 40, 20, 40 split with fold down rear seats with a through access. So right in the center, you can put in longer items such as your golf clubs, or if you do ski, your skis. So again, the rear seats are functional, and they also fold down to allow increased trunk space for storage. Your backseat passengers are treated to a climate control vent, and what looks like here, quite possibly some sort of a storage tray. Very, very cool. Gets the job done. The back rear passengers also have this, again, fold down access where you can get into the trunk from your rear seat. Definitely very useful when you want to store big materials, or if you're sitting in the back seat and you want to reach into the trunk and grab something without getting out of the car and opening the trunk. You can go ahead and just put this down and reach in back there. So again, definitely very cool. And we can put that back up. So again, here are your rear seats of your 2025 BMW M2. And last thing to note, these headrests are also special because they do fold down. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate that when I jump back there to show you how comfortable or uncomfortable these rear seats may be. Let's check out what's behind your 2025 BMW M2 steering wheel. So your instrument cluster is composed of a single 12.3-inch information screen. And the screen again displays many different things such as your speedometer, tachometer, gas, engine temperature, time, mileage, so on and so forth. But again, it is a digital instrument cluster. And we'll do a deeper dive later on in the interior tour. Right next to your 12.3-inch information instrument digital cluster is your bigger 14.9-inch media screen. So from afar, it looks kind of like one big curved screen, but in actuality, it is a 2 different screens, a smaller one for your instrument cluster and a bigger one for your media controls. And integrated into your media controls are also pretty much everything that you need to do to control your car, from heating your seats to your AC system and your radio controls and so on and so forth. But BMW did not leave you fending for yourself by integrating everything into the electronic media screen. This car is also equipped with alternative analog buttons. So for example, right underneath the AC vents, you do have your analog radio control, your emergency lights, and also your AC controls. Scrolling on down underneath that, let's see what's underneath this cup holder. Oh, it's underneath the cup holder cover are cup holders. So you do have what looks like an integrated electronics charging station and 2 cup holders. One for the passenger, one for the driver. Deep down inside, you do have what looks like a cordless charging station for your phone, so you can just drop it in there and it'll charge, wire free. But if your phone does need a wire, you do have what looks like a USB charging port and a 12 volt port. So again, essentially your charging station's here. You can throw your phone in there and go ahead and close that up, nice and clean. On the passenger side, you do have a lockable storage compartment to put your valuables. Here again is your 8-speed automatic transmission shifter with the integrated M logo, and again the M colors stitched onto the side. So to operate it, it's pretty much very simple. Again, if you want to park, you're going to press the P button. If you want to shift into reverse, you're going to go ahead and push forward and it'll go into reverse. And if you want to go into drive, you simply pull back and turn to the right. Again, this is a auto manual. You can have the car shift for you, or if you want, you can shift using this shift knob, or again, like I said, the integrated rear power shifters that are integrated into your steering wheel of your 2025 BMW M2. Now, right next to your shift knob, you do have one of the more important buttons in the car, which is your engine start button. So again, this car is equipped with keyless ignition. So as long as you have your keys near, you can go ahead and put your foot on brake and press this big red button here, and it'll start your car right up. Let's see what that looks like. And there you go, starts right up. Very, very cool. And if you want to turn off your car again, all you have to do is again just click that button and everything turns off. And right in front of your powered moonroof is this, again, essentially your lighting station for the passenger and driver. So you have this huge light, one for the passenger, one for the driver. You have your SOS button here, and again, if you want to control that moonroof, you do have the buttons right here. You slide forward to close it, slide back to open. Very, very intuitive. Driver and passenger do have visors with mirrors to check yourself, and lighting. Plain and simple, very cool, and covers up. You have a very simple rear view camera with anti-glare. Now let's continue the interior tour by showing you my favorite 3 dash buttons found. Now let's continue the interior tour of the 2025 BMW M2 by showing you my 3 favorite dash buttons found in this car. So the first button, most favorite button in this car, is found right next to the shift knob. Right underneath the shift knob, there is a button called M mode. So M mode is essentially predetermined driving modes set by BMW. So when you click that button, the screen changes and you get 3 options. You get a road option, you get a sport option, and of course, if you guys see my previous videos, my favorite option, track mode. And track mode is so serious that when you click track, they ask you, are you sure? So you gotta click that twice in order to set the car in track mode, which puts the car in the most aggressive setting for steering, for exhaust, for transmission, for engine, for everything. I think that's great, so that's my first favorite button. So in conjunction with the M mode button, there are 2 other buttons that I view as kind of like track mode, like stage 2 and stage 3. So on the steering wheel, you have what they call in red, this kind of little mini paddle shifters. It's called M1 and M2. So essentially M1 and M2 are basically the M1 and M2 button allows you to basically customize almost every aspect of the BMW M2, from the suspension to the transmission to the steering wheel feel to the exhaust sound. to your liking, and then after, when you set it, you can actually save it into each button. And if you don't put your own adjustment in, BMW actually has a factory I guess like race tune settings that you can just click to. So it's too much to think about, but all I know is that when I put this car in M mode and put it into track mode, it's pretty fast. But when I press the M1 buttons, and again, this is the factory settings for the M1, the exhaust gets actually very noticeably louder, and the shifts and the acceleration just becomes much more aggressive. And then if you want it just a little bit louder and just like the most aggressive version of the BMW M2, you can go ahead and click the M2 button. And in the M2 button, you actually have to shift it on your own. There's no auto manual mode in the M2 mode. But essentially, I feel that it pretty much puts the BMW M2 in the ultimate track mode from the factory settings, again, from M2. But you can also adjust it to your liking. So again, let's see if I can show you kind of how to adjust the M1 and M2 settings. So to adjust the M1 and M2 settings, you go below the M mode, and right below the M mode, there's a button called Setup. So when you click Setup, it'll take you to this screen, and this screen, you can essentially adjust M1 configuration. So let's see what your options here. So again, you can adjust the engine, the transmission, the chassis, the steering, the brake, DSC, start stop, and also the M sound essentially is the M variable performance exhaust. So you can turn it on and off depending on you know, how loud you want it. For me, I like it loud, so I'll leave it on. So again, this is the factory settings, and if you ever change anything and you want to kind of go back to the factory setting, you can go and click reset, and it'll change everything back to how BMW set it. So again, those are my 3 favorite buttons found in the interior of the BMW M2. So the reason why I chose to do part of the interior tour during the daytime and part of the interior tour during nighttime is because of this feature on the dash. So right underneath the screen here, there's actually a little light bar underneath the screen, but above the AC outlets. And if you remember, and I will leave the link below, I reviewed a BMW 760, and that one also had a light bar that spread like essentially across the dash all the way into the door panel. So in the BMW M2, you actually have a little mini version of it, and I just consider it kind of like an ambiance feature. So you can actually change the color of this. So right now I have this set in yellow. So if you ever want to change the color of this ambient light bar in a center dash, you go ahead and click on the screen, and you go to all apps, and then you want to scroll down to where it says interior lighting. So here's the interior lighting, and you click on color, and here are all the color choices that you can choose to change that little light bar. So again, we'll turn it turquoise, so as you see, it turns blue. You can turn it flamingo if you want, or for me, my favorite is the citrine or a yellow. So again, multiple different options to change it into what you want, and you can also turn it off also. Again, it's essentially a cool light bar, and you can kind of only see it during the nighttime, so that's why I chose to do part of the interior tour at night to show you that light bar. And the last thing that I want to show you in the 2025 BMW M2 is the optional, what BMW likes to call the brushed aluminum M trim. So essentially, it's essentially a silver trim that goes around, again, the AC outlet, and strolls all the way across the dash. It's kind of like it's not really metal, it's more like plastic with a silver finish, but again, it provides pretty good contrast, breaking up all that black interior. So again, that it is a factory option in the 2025 BMW M2, and this is essentially what the interior looks like at nighttime. And that right here, that BMW logo definitely pops out at night. Screens are definitely very, very bright. You got that little ambient light bar, and again, yeah, just a great balance between analog and digital. And this is your 2025 BMW M2 interior tour. So the trunk size for the BMW M2 comes out at 13.8 cubic feet. Now that's not bad. I mean, I was able to store this pretty sizable luggage right into the trunk of this car very, very perfectly. So again, this is a small car, but with 13.8 cubic feet of space, I'll probably say that's not that bad. And again, if you need more room, the rear seats do fold down 20, 40, 20. And in order to do that, you do have these two buttons mounted right underneath the trunk, and you can just go ahead and pull those two, and the rear seats will pop on down. So let's see if I can go ahead and do that right now. So there's one, and there's two, and there we go. The rear seats have folded down, so you get almost full access into the interior compartment of your BMW M2. So again, if you need more than 13.8 cubic feet of space in your BMW M2, you can fold the rear seats down to accommodate more storage. What else do you get in the trunk of your BMW M2? You do get a little trunk light up there. You do get some sort of like, I believe this is like a tire inflator kit. You do have little tie down points located inside the trunk, 1 and 2. And it is nicely carpeted. It's like nice black felt. So again, 13.8 cubic feet of storage in your BMW M2. All right, let's begin the test drive of this 2025 BMW M2 equipped with the 8-speed automatic sport shift transmission. All right, let's jump right into it. So this car is, I have determined after spending a day with it that it lives its best life on the highways, freeways, or the empty, open back roads, or of any sort of twisty canyon road. Essentially, this car, the way it's set up, it really just comes alive and does its best anytime the motor is read past 2,000 RPM. So when I first got into this car and I jumped onto a freeway, I was just incredibly impressed of how fast it is at the speeds between 60 to 90 miles per hour. Essentially, going on a freeway for the first time in this car, no track mode, no sport mode, no nothing. This car really is a lot of joy to drive because it gets from 60 to 90 very, very fast, and sometimes you don't even realize you're hitting 90. It's that quick. So MotorTrend in 2024 determined and rewarded the 2024 BMW M2 with the Performance Car of the Year. And I can tell you right now that this is my first time driving a BMW M2, and it definitely lives up to the hype. I would probably say this is one of the quintessential best enthusiast cars for the money, for the dollar in its category. And I feel like it actually is much more enjoyable to drive than even some exotic cars out there. So we're gonna go ahead and start on a little city street, and then we're gonna transition over to where I live near Pasadena, California. There is a older freeway called the 110 freeway, and essentially it's the smallest, oldest, twistiest highway. So we're gonna go ahead and go on a little night drive. So let's get started. So for this car, and any car for that matter, my favorite thing to do is absolutely go to the M mode, which allows you here on the screen, as you can see, switch the car to track mode. I'm gonna activate that. Are you sure? Absolutely. So when you activate track mode, it closes off the media screen, assuming because it doesn't want to distract you, because you know, you're in track mode, serious business. So in this car, you have your M modes, and that puts you in track mode. but this car also has two other big secrets hiding behind the steering wheel actually. So if you look very closely to the steering wheel, there is a button entitled M1 and M2. So these two buttons, in addition to this M mode button next to this shift knob, are three of my favorite buttons in this car. So basically the M1 and M2 mode essentially is BMW's way to allow you to essentially adjust all the driving aspects of the car, from handling to steering to suspension to exhaust, open close valves, open close, so on and so forth. And you can actually program it every which way that you want and then save it. Otherwise, they're both defaulted in some sort of a special drive mode. All I know is that when I press the M1 button, the exhaust suddenly gets pretty loud and the track mode gets much more aggressive. So then when I press the M2 mode, what happens then is that the car gets even more aggressive, and essentially you have to end up shifting by yourself. So most of the time I'll switch off between starting up the car, going into M mode, going to track mode, and then pressing on the M1. And if I'm feeling spirited, I'll do the M2 shift myself, but most of the time I'm up the M1. So right now, let's go ahead and start with track mode. I'm gonna roll down the window and kind of give you an idea of what I mean. So right now I'm just in track mode, and now I'm gonna press the M1 button. You can noticeably hear the exhaust getting slightly louder. So let's hit the freeway, and you can definitely hear that mperformance quad tip exhaust. So as a reminder, for the 2025 model year, the BMW M2 gets a huge horsepower bump to 470-ish horsepower, and the automatic equipped 8-speed manual transmission gets a huge torque bump to 470 470 foot-pounds of torque. So again, for the 2025 model year, horsepower stays the same, but if you are equipped with the automatic transmission, you get the torque bump. Otherwise, the manual transmission has the same torque numbers as the previous 2023, 2024 BMW M2s. So again, I know there are a lot of purists out there that I get the manual, but for me, I'm a lazy enthusiast. I really enjoy having these sport shift automatics, and BMW rewards you with, again, an extra 40 foot-pounds of torque. And if you actually do the reading on this car, the automatic BMW M2 is actually faster from the 0 to 60 than the manual equipped transmission. So again, don't sleep on auto manuals. So usually I do my point of view test drives during the daytime, but it's summertime in LA right now. It's definitely warm weather, and I'm feeling very initial D-ish. So we're gonna go for a night drive, and here's the 110 freeway. Hopefully it's a little late right now. Hopefully it's a little empty and we can really open it up. But like I said, this car definitely thrives on highways, freeways, anywhere that the car can rev and stay revved past 2,000 RPM. So this car is very interesting. The way that BMW has set up the BMW horsepower, I guess torque and horsepower curve, is that in my eyes, anything below 2,000 RPM, it's for city driving. But once you go past that 2,000 RPM, that's when the BMW M2 really lives up to its name. It just gets insanely rev happy and insanely quick, anything past 2,000 RPM. And I feel like BMW has set up that way because, again, this car is definitely actually meant for a person who needs a track car for the weekend, but also needs a daily commuter to drive their kids around, to drive their friends around, to drive their parents around, to drive their cats around, wherever it may be. Again, you can do your daily errands, you can commute to work, you can drive around residential neighborhood and not scare all the old ladies. Again, it's actually pretty slow and docile below 2,000, 3,000 RPM. And that's great because that's exactly what you need during city driving. But like I said, right now we're gonna hit the freeway, and here we go. Oh yeah, you can definitely hear that. So we're already at 90 already. So like I said, 60 to 90, this is where this car thrives. So as you can see, This is kind of a more twisty freeway, highway. And it sounds amazing. Let me go and roll the window down a little bit, put the sunroof down out a little bit so you can kind of hear that exhaust. So one of my first impressions of this vehicle is two things. The acceleration, amazing. The turbo lag on this car is, there is a little bit of noticeable turbo lag in the beginning, but I'm not gonna ding it because I feel like BMW engineered this car to have that little bit of lag, especially during city driving. But again, once you push past that 2,000 RPM, you get those turbo spooling. This thing is pretty fast. Again, 470 horsepower is to the rear wheels is nothing to snooze at. It's pretty powerful, and especially with that torque increase of 40 foot-pounds of torque in the automatic transmission. Oh yeah, this thing is pretty scary fast. Another thing I really do commend about this vehicle is the stopping power. So again, go fast, you need to stop fast. And a reminder, this car is equipped with those huge 15-inch cross-drilled rotors in the front with this huge 6-piston BMW branded, probably from Brembo, brake calipers. So again, this car goes fast but also stops fast. The brakes are definitely built for a car of speed, and it definitely helps this car slow down when you need to. So unfortunately, there is no carbon ceramic brake option in the BMW M2, but I really feel that you really don't need it, especially with those huge cross-drilled rotors. The stopping power is pretty good, and I'm sure it'll still stay pretty good even at the track here and there. I love the sound of the exhaust. One thing with turbo cars sometimes is that you end up losing that really aggressive exhaust note. But in this car, despite it being a twin turbo, that BMW mpower quad variable exhaust, it sounds very aggressive, almost like an NA engine. Let me see if I can slow this down a little bit so I can really gun it and have you guys hear it. And we are at almost 90. That is how fast this car is from 60 to 90. Oh yeah. So I'll leave a link in the description below. A few weeks ago, I actually did review a 2025-ish BMW M4/M3, and that was equipped with BMW's xDrive, which is, if you know, that's BMW's all-wheel drive. And I gotta say, I am an all-wheel drive snob. I really do. I understand that sports cars are supposed to be front engine, mid engine, whatever, rear wheel drive or whatnot. But I really love the I guess the extra safety and also traction when it comes to a all-wheel drive car. So this BMW M2, the handling's great. You point it with the steering wheel and it goes, but I do feel it gets a little squirrely depending on how you modulate the gas pedal, and I assume that again that's because of the rear wheel drive. Again, too much torque, you can break a little bit of traction, the tail gets kind of squiggly. But again, I really do like the BMW xDrive because again, in that car, accelerating on the freeway, I never feared that I was going to lose any traction. It just gripped the roads, all four tires just biting into the pavement. So again, this car handles well, but again, since it doesn't have that all-wheel drive, you gotta be a little careful. You gotta be a little skilled when you're driving a car with rear-wheel drive. So again, as a reminder, I'm a lazy car enthusiast. I like the all-wheel drive; gives me that certainty. But overall, again, even despite that, this car is definitely very enjoyable in the front-engine rear-wheel drive setup. see if I go ahead and pass this car in front of me, which won't be a problem. So one thing I really do enjoy about this car is that when I drove the BMW M4, that car is quick and it had the BMW's xDrive. But my one complaint about it was that it's a little bit of a heifer. Again, that car is a lot bigger than the BMW M2, and when you throw it around, you could definitely feel the weight. But with this car, and now with the power equivalent of the BMW's M4 engine in this car, combined with its smaller wheelbase and lighter weight, this car is very fun to toss around. It's just very, very tossable. It's very easy to drive. And now I'm going to show you what it's like to drive in city streets with this car, because again, like I said, under 2,000 RPM, this is a great city driver, because again, it just becomes this little docile, like I'll probably say almost like grandma-like. So here we are in a more suburban city street, and the car is just easy to drive. Despite having a turbo, twin turbos, it doesn't have that jerkiness. So again, like I said, there is a little bit of turbo lag, but I think the BMW has purposely engineered that turbo lag to, again, just accommodate for city driving. So easy to drive. So we went from a spirited drive, you know, through that twisty freeway, and now we're in the city streets, residential neighborhood almost, and again, it just becomes just a really safe and docile car. So let's talk seats. So new for 2025 in the BMW M2, you can now option the BMW, if you've ever seen it, the extreme carbon fiber race seats. You gotta look at it. It does not look comfortable, but again, they're expensive and they're carbon fiber. So again, that's now a standalone option. In this car, we have what they call the BMW msport seats, and I really love the msport seats. My most favorite part about the msport seat is definitely the powered lumbar support. If you see my previous videos, I'm all about the lumbar support. I really, really love lumbar support, and this car delivers lumbar support. Second thing it delivers is, again, it does have side bolsters to hold you in on twisty turns, and it holds you in just enough where you're not sliding around, but not too much where you're feeling like you're feeling claustrophobic. So again, it's roomy yet snug, and I definitely do like that. And in my personal opinion, the BMW carbon fiber sport seats, they look cool and you get a lot of bragging rights, but I too feel like they look very, very uncomfortable, and I think that really is overkill for daily driving, and I'll probably say overkill for the weekend racer. So again, you know, you can take that as you will, but again, I really love the BMW M Sport seats, especially with the lumbar support. And right now it's getting a little cold, and as a reminder, the seats do also come heated. So again, supportive and toasty. Let me go ahead and hit the windows down, put the sunroof up. So if you guys have the chance, this car does have an option for a carbon fiber roof. But if you live in a big city like LA, it's really nice to have this powered moonroof, especially at nights when you don't want to roll the window down, but you want some air. It just really brightens up the interior and really lets a lot of ventilation in. And the last thing I want to mention in this BMW M2 is that if you have the chance, go ahead and equip it with the BMW M variable exhaust. I really love the look of the quad tip exhaust in the BMW M2, but I also love the sound of it. It pops, it gurgles, it does everything that a race exhaust needs to do. But again, it is you know, provided from the factory, so no worries about you know, voiding warranty or whatnot. So again, there are a lot of aftermarket options for BMWs, especially M and M2s, and you know, any M car in general. But again, if you are one of those people that just you know, value a factory warranty, this factory race exhaust is definitely a great option. So again, this car has definitely lived up to the 2024 BMW M2 MotorTrend Performance Car of the Year, and I think that's going to be a very top contender for the 2025 model year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this night drive in the 2024 BMW M4 mid-cycle update. Now that I've got to experience the driving experience of this BMW M2, let me go ahead and share the pros and cons I found with my personal experience with this BMW M2. Let's start with the pros of the 2025 BMW M2. And straight off the bat, the best pro and the biggest pro of the BMW M2 is most definitely design. I really feel that the 2025 BMW M2 has captured two of my favorite generations of M series BMWs, starting with the E30 M3 and the E46 M3. So my favorite design elements of the E30 M3 and the E46 M3 are as follows. So this is the E30 M3, and as you guys remember, the E30 M3 had these boxy, edgy fender flares. Definitely classic. And the E46 M3, also a visual classic, had those curved fender flares, just made it very muscular. And also, another favorite design element of the E46 M3 that I really loved was the quad tip exhaust. And I'm gonna share with you that the 2025 BMW M2 has incorporated all the best design features of both the E30 M3 and the E46 M3 in a 2025 modern classic. I love the visual flow of these edgy yet curvaceous front fender flares, and especially the rear fender flares. As you can see, they're both kind of edgy like the E30, but also curvy like the E46. Definitely my favorite design feature of the BMW M2. And again, the biggest pro is definitely design of the BMW M2. The other design element that I feel like was pulled from the E46 M3 was this, again, the BMW M2's quad tip exhaust. Again, definitely very similar to the E46 M3, and also equally as loud. And the E46 M3 quad tips. So again, I love how they incorporated the best of all the BMW generations in this new modern design. And again, biggest pro is the design of the BMW M2. And lastly, my favorite part of the BMW M2 is definitely the rear quarter fender. You can definitely see the huge bulge, just again provide this car with a very aggressive and wide muscular stance. Definitely very big pro of the BMW M2. All right, and the next biggest pro of the 2025 BMW M2, or the second generation BMW M2, I'll probably say is value. Now here on the Gas and Gavel YouTube channel, I've done about 20-ish odd car reviews and counting right now. And I can tell you one of the biggest cons of almost every car review, especially the newer generation cars of all makes and models, is that cars are way overpriced nowadays. But the BMW M2 is the first car that I find that even if you're gonna pay MSRP, which again, a bare bones model of the BMW M2, which is what you see here, with almost zero option packages, comes out to about around 60K MSRP. And I think that that's a pretty good value for all that you get in this performance. And it definitely doesn't feel like BMW is trying to take advantage of their customers or overcharge the consumer. I really feel that you get actually a lot of performance and value and technology and performance. I think I said performance for $60K. In addition, I feel like the 2025 BMW M2 is one of those cars that if someone forced you to buy a car at MSRP in 2025, this is probably the best car to park your money in, because again, if you take a look at the used market for the BMW M2, the BMW M2 actually holds the value pretty well. I mean, relative to other cars, but again, you won't lose much, and again, you gain a lot even if you're paying MSRP. So again, as a reminder, for $60K, you get a 450 horsepower twin turbo inline six. You get an 8-speed automatic transmission or a manual transmission. You get the classic front engine, rear wheel drive. You get the staggered 20-inch wheels. You also get the Harman Kardon stereo system free of charge. You get the M adaptive suspension. You also get the variable exhaust. Again, you get a lot of factory options that BMW doesn't charge you for. And again, I think that's just really great value. And again, I can see why there's such huge brand loyalty when it comes to BMWs, especially in the M model range. And let's talk further value. Again, in this day and age, the world's tough, the economy's tough, and it's probably, if you cannot buy MSRP, even in the used market, I feel like the BMW M2 is a great value, even in the used car market. You can get a really pristine example, especially the early 2023 models, in the 40 to 50K range. Some are actually still even under BMW warranty. So again, newer used, I feel like one of the biggest pros of the BMW M2, especially in the 2025 model, with all the power upgrades and all the tech upgrades and all the interior upgrades, is again, value for your dollar, not just at the time of purchase, but also if you ever do decide to sell later on for another vehicle or whatnot. It definitely has a lot of residual value in the BMW M2. And the third biggest pro of the 2025 BMW M2 is most definitely performance. Now let's sit and talk about performance. So the BMW M2 is definitely a car that lives up to its name. The 2024 BMW M2 was named MotorTrend's Enthusiast Performance Car of the Year. And it definitely, after the test drive, after experiencing this car for 24 hours, I can tell you right now that this is probably one of the most enjoyable enthusiast cars to drive, hands down, out of any vehicle, from enthusiast cars to exotics. I think that this is, again, the best all-around, best enthusiast car that covers all the areas of needs and wants of any car enthusiast. No matter whether you're into exotics or if you're into muscle cars, this car again embodies what I feel every single enthusiast car should try to live up to. So I can tell you right now that this car is, again, definitely meant for the funnest experiences. You must drive this car only on the highway or on a long curvy canyon road. This BMW M2, the engine is just the torque curve and the horsepower curve is essentially very fine-tuned to basically just come alive after 2000 RPM. And when you're on the freeway and you keep those revs up high, man, this car moves. It is fast, it is enjoyable, and again, it moves forward fast. It confidently and competently devours windy roads, and yet, because of the way the torque and horsepower curve is created, it's actually pretty livable and enjoyable to even drive around the city, because below 2000 RPM, this car is actually pretty docile. So again, if you're going around running errands or picking up your kids from school or going on a date with your wife, whatever it may be, or boyfriend, husband, whatever it may be, again, it can be docile at the lower RPMs for city driving, which is great. But then when you really feel like, you know, putting a pedal to the metal, again, this car is, again, I really feel designed to be fully experienced only on the highway, racetrack, or some very long, empty, curvy mountain road. So again, if you do have a BMW M2 or you ever have a chance to drive the BMW M2, you can definitely experience the biggest pro of the 2025 BMW M2, and that is performance. And you definitely want to experience that performance on the racetrack or the highway, or the again, a long, empty, curvy mountain road where you can keep those RPMs high and those turbos spooling. Biggest pro, performance. So I tried really hard to find at least one con of the BMW M2. And after much trial and tribulation and pondering and brainstorming, honestly, one of the biggest cons of the BMW M2 is probably the front bumper, which is what I'm staring at front and center right now. Again, the pro of the design of this car is everything else, but the front bumper, I feel that there's something not finished or not quite living up to the rest of the design of the BMW M2. And I suspect that the reason being, it comes down to essentially color choice. So if you take a look at the center grille, there's this black painted piece, and from afar, it kind of looks like your BMW M2 crashed into some sort of tire or something and lost its lip. So again, it seems to be missing, like, either BMW can incorporate some sort of like painted lower spoiler that comes across the bottom here, or BMW could have just changed this black portion and made it more body color so that the front bumper looks a little more finished. So again, I don't know if it's just me, but again, the biggest con is that there's something off-putting about the design of the BMW M2's front bumper, especially the bottom portion. So again, it just really looks like you drove on a freeway and you ran into a tire and it ripped off your lips, or your front lip spoiler. Every car enthusiast has probably been there, but again, this look is from the factory. So again, one of the single cons I can say about this vehicle is I think maybe in the next year or the next generation BMW M2, BMW can incorporate some sort of like front lip spoiler. So again, it is a small con, and I'm sure in the aftermarket right now, there's probably a lot of aftermarket companies that maybe could produce as a carbon fiber lip or some sort of front lip spoiler to help finish this off. So again, one of the single cons of the 2025 BMW M2 is definitely the front design of the front bumper of the BMW M2. I hope everyone enjoyed this review of this 2025 BMW M2 mid-cycle update. If you guys enjoyed this video review, please like and subscribe to the Gas and Gavel YouTube channel. We truly do appreciate your support, and tune in next week for more exciting performance, enthusiast, and exotic car reviews.